I was just speaking with a friend of mine just today, and he was telling me about someone that he met who was Jewish, and he seemed to be not particularly interested in being observant, which is fine. But I asked him, I said, why don't you try to at least find out if he might be more interested simply by asking him if he wants to study, any Torah. And he looked at me and he said, you don't know this guy. This guy is completely not interested. So I said, how do you know? He said, I'm telling you, he's just not interested, and there are so many like him. So I told him about a recent poll that was taken by the Motagim Institute in Israel. They asked how many people that they polled and interviewed were really considered themselves to be observant or secular. So a majority said that they consider themselves to be secular or traditional more than observant. Fine, no surprise there. But then they asked the question, from the secular Jews, only the secular Jews, we're talking about Jews mainly in Tel Aviv and the central region, and they asked those Jews who did not consider themselves to be observant, how many of you would be interested in studying Torah, learning more about the laws and the traditions on a regular basis? So what do you think the answer was? How many of those, quote, secular Jews were interested in finding out more about Torah? I'm going to let you think for a few seconds, because when I tell you, you might be surprised. So the answer is that 57% of them answered that they would be interested in spending a few minutes a day, not hours, a few minutes a day to study Torah, finding out more about the traditions, finding out more about the laws of Torah, etc. Now, I found that to be astounding. And I told him, I said, you may think he's not interested, and maybe he's not, but you'd be shocked to know that 57% of Israelis who already consider themselves to be completely non-observant, but they are interested in studying more Torah. Now, that means two things. That means to those of you who are secular, which is fine, we say, there's a lot of people out there just like you, but they're willing to study for a few moments a day. That's all we're talking about. Find out if it's interesting. And those of you who are observant and are interested in involving more of your less observant people in Judaism, don't give up, because it's certainly very plausible that they are interested. I think that there is a mini revolution going on, and people know that life is a little bit meaningless, and we want to get more meaning into our lives. And the way to do this, find out more about Judaism, find out more about Torah. Does this surprise you? Does this surprise you? Does it mean anything to you? Does it make a difference? Let us know. I believe it's certainly something to think about.